Start. The Kerala government, represented by Senior Advocate Kapil Sibbal in the Supreme Court on Friday, made an oral mentioning about the formation of a constitution bench to examine whether a state has an enforceable right to raise its borrowing limits over and above the cap fixed by the union government. The oral mentioning was made before Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud by Senior Advocate Kapil Sibbal for Kerala. The reference to a constitution bench was met by a two-judge bench of Justices Suryakant and K.V. Vishwanathan in April this year on the basis of an original suit filed by Kerala. Chief Justice Chandrachud agreed to look into it. The reference had raised seminal questions on whether fiscal decentralization was an aspect of Indian federalism and if central regulations fixing net borrowing ceilings on states were a violation of the principles of federalism. The court had also referred to the constitution bench the issue of whether financial restrictions introduced by the center had meted out a differential treatment to Kerala compared to other states. The two-judge bench further asked the constitution bench to examine if the borrowing restrictions of the center were in conflict with the role assigned to the Reserve Bank of India as the public debt manager. Finally, Justice Khan's bench had framed the question whether it was mandatory for the center to have prior consultation with states for giving effect to the recommendations of the Finance Commission. However, the court had been skeptical about Kerala's prowess to use its funds wisely. It had refused to pass any judicial order directing the union government to lift the net borrowing ceiling for Kerala or enable the state to borrow rupees 26,226 crore on an immediate basis. The bench had observed that the center had already allowed a substantial relief of rupee 13,608 crore to the state for it to tide over the immediate crisis. The division bench noted that there was a vacuum in law concerning Article 293 of the Constitution, which dealt with the financial borrowings by states.